Each recorded action speaks volumes. Every close observation uncovers facts. Protecting your civil rights, revealing definitive justice.
Sir, step away from the car. Whose Ferrari is this?
It belongs to me. I'm Special Agent Marcus Dean, FBI. I just walked out of the bank. My badge is right here.
I don't care what you say you are. Guys like you don't drive cars like this unless they're borrowed or stolen. You borrow it? You steal it?
That's neither. I paid for it with my salary. That slip in my...
Turn around. Hands behind your back. Now.
Hey, I'm telling you, you're making a mistake.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Keep those hands back.
I'm not resisting. Look, my badge is on my chest.
I'll check it when you're in cuffs. Left hand back. Now.
This is unnecessary. I'm innocent. That car is mine, bought and paid for.
We'll see about that. Get in the car.
Call your lieutenant. Run.
The police report would later claim this was a routine stop. But the surveillance cameras outside Chase Bank captured something else entirely. A black man in an FBI jacket standing beside a yellow Ferrari being shoved toward a patrol car, while calmly saying the words that should have ended everything. "I'm a federal agent." At 11:42 a.m., outside a suburban bank, a local officer made a split-second assumption. By nightfall, that assumption would trigger a federal investigation, a viral video, and a lawsuit that would cost a city $5 million. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Officer Daniel Rourke had been on the job long enough to trust his instincts, or at least that's what he told Internal Affairs later. Mid-40s local PD, a reputation on the force for being old school and no nonsense. Rourke rolled his shoulders as he shut his cruiser door, eyes locked on the bright yellow Ferrari parked illegally close to the bank entrance. He didn't check the plate first. He didn't ask dispatch to run anything. He scoffed. "Unbelievable," he muttered, loud enough for the bank's glass doors to catch the sound. "Every damn time." The man standing near the driver's door heard it. Marcus Dean turned slightly, cash envelope tucked under his arm, the black FBI windbreaker clear against his chest. He had just come out of the bank, mind still on his wife in a hospital room across town, the IV beeping, the nurse's words replaying in his head. He'd withdrawn the money quickly, no drama, no scene, because time mattered today. Rourke walked straight up to him. "Let me guess," the officer said, voice sharp, eyes scanning Marcus from shoes to shoulders, lingering on the jacket. "That yours?" Marcus followed his gaze to the Ferrari. "Yes, officer, it is." Rourke laughed, not a chuckle, a short, dismissive bark. "That's funny, because cars like that don't usually belong to people like you." The words landed heavy. Marcus straightened. Years of federal training taught him to stay calm, to de-escalate, to document everything later. "I'm Special Agent Marcus Dean, FBI." He tapped the lettering on his jacket. "That vehicle is registered to me. I just withdrew money for my wife. She's in the hospital." Rourke didn't slow down. If anything, he leaned in closer, invading Marcus's space. "I don't care what jacket you're wearing. Anybody can buy one of those online." Marcus kept his hands visible. "You can call it in. My badge is—" "Don't move," Rourke snapped. "You people always got a story. Borrowed it, right? Or stole it. Either way, you're not driving it anywhere." Pedestrians slowed. A woman near the ATM stopped pretending not to stare. The bank's security camera blinked red. Marcus felt the familiar frustration rising, the kind he'd dealt with undercover overseas, not outside an American bank. "Officer, with respect, I paid for that car with my salary. I'm a federal agent. You're making a mistake." Rourke's jaw tightened. "Oh, now you're telling me how things work?" He reached for Marcus's arm. "Turn around." That's not necessary," Marcus said, backing half a step. "I'm not resisting. I'm cooperating." "Stop resisting," Rourke shouted anyway, loud enough for it to sound official, justified. He grabbed Marcus and shoved him toward the cruiser door, metal clanging as it swung open. "Hands behind your back. Now." The movement was sudden. The envelope slipped from Marcus's grip and fell to the pavement, crisp bills sliding slightly against the concrete. Rourke noticed and smirked. "Look at that," he said. "Car, cash. You really hit the jackpot today, didn't you?" Marcus's voice stayed steady, even as his shoulder hit the doorframe. "You're crossing a line. I've identified myself. This will not end well." Rourke pushed harder, fumbling for cuffs. "You don't get to threaten me. Not here. Not today." What Rourke didn't notice, too focused on proving his point, was the phone now raised across the street, or the bank manager stepping closer to the glass, or the fact that Marcus Dean had spent 16 years enforcing federal law, documenting misconduct and testifying under oath, skills that didn't disappear just because someone decided he didn't belong behind the wheel of a Ferrari. As the cuffs clicked shut, Marcus looked up, eyes calm, voice measured. "I want your supervisor, and I want this on record." Rourke shook his head. "You should have thought about that before pretending to be something you're not." The cruiser door slammed, and with it, the first domino fell. If you believe that accountability should apply to everyone, especially those sworn to uphold the law, share this story and let others know that justice begins with the truth. By the time the cruiser door slammed, the parking lot had gone quiet in the way places do when people sense something is wrong, but don't yet know how bad it will get. Marcus Dean sat upright in the back seat, cuffs tight but posture controlled. Eyes fixed forward as Officer Rourke leaned against the hood, radio crackling at his shoulder. "Yeah," Rourke said into the mic, glancing back at Marcus through the glass. "Possible impersonation, suspicious vehicle, subjects claiming federal law enforcement." He smirked when he said it, as if the words themselves were a joke. Marcus closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. "Officer," he said evenly, "my credentials are in my inside pocket. You can verify everything in under 2 minutes. Rourke ignored him. Across the street, a man filming lowered his phone just long enough to whisper, "This don't look right," to the woman beside him. She nodded, eyes still locked on the cruiser. Rourke finally opened the back door, not to listen, but to lean in close. "You know what gets guys like you in trouble?" he said. "Thinking a fancy jacket and a story makes you untouchable." "I'm not untouchable," Marcus replied. "I'm accountable. That's why I'm telling you again. Call it in." Rourke scoffed and slammed the door shut again. Minutes stretched. A second patrol car pulled in, then a third. No one uncuffed Marcus, no one checked the vehicle registration. Instead, the conversation happened 10 feet away from him, hushed but animated, Rourke's hands slicing the air as he spoke. When Sergeant Alan Pierce arrived, he took in the scene slowly. The Ferrari, the onlookers, the phone still out. His eyes lingered on Marcus through the glass. What do we have?" Pierce asked. Rourke answered quickly. "Guy claims he's FBI, says the car's his, refused to comply." Marcus leaned forward. "That's not accurate, Sergeant. I complied fully. I identified myself multiple times." Pierce looked at Marcus's jacket. The letters were unmistakable. "You got ID?" "Yes, sir, inside pocket." Pierce hesitated. "Rourke, did you verify—" "Come on," Rourke cut in. "Anyone can fake that. You think the Bureau sends guys like him to drive Ferraris?" The sentence hung in the air longer than anyone expected. Pierce's jaw tightened. "Watch your mouth." Reluctantly, Rourke opened the door again and retrieved Marcus's credentials. The moment Pierce saw the badge, his expression changed. Not dramatically, but unmistakably. He stepped away, radio already in hand. Within seconds, dispatch confirmed it. Special Agent Marcus Dean, active duty, field office 2 counties over. Pierce exhaled slowly. "Uncuff him." Rourke froze. "Sarge!" Now. The cuffs came off, but the damage didn't rewind itself. Marcus rubbed his wrists, standing tall but visibly shaken, eyes scanning the faces around him. Not angry, just focused. "This incident will be documented," Marcus said. "In full." "Rourke crossed his arms. For what? We did our job. Marcus turned to him. No, you abused your authority. Pierce stepped between them. Officer Rourke, that's enough. Huh, but it wasn't. Rourke leaned closer again, voice low and venomous. You should be grateful we didn't do worse. Next time, don't flash money in cars like you're above suspicion. The bank manager finally came outside. Officer, the cameras caught everything, she said carefully, from the moment you approached him. Rourke waved her off. Stay out of it. Xiao, she didn't. I won't. That night, the video hit social media. Not the edited kind, not commentary, just raw footage. Rourke's words, the shove, the cuffs, the insult that made viewers rewind just to be sure they heard it right. By morning, the clip had millions of views. By afternoon, the FBI had requested the full incident report. By evening, the city attorney's office was scrambling. Marcus sat in a quiet room later that day, hands steady as he typed his statement. He didn't embellish. He didn't rage. He documented, because that's what he'd been trained to do. Outside that room, Officer Daniel Rourke's instincts were no longer being praised. They were being dissected. Frame by frame. If you believe that the truth doesn't need shouting to be powerful, and that accountability begins when someone finally says, "This isn't right," share this story and let others know that justice is built on evidence, not assumptions. By the end of the week, Officer Daniel Rourke stopped being described as involved in an incident and started being described as the officer at the center of it. The language shifted quietly at first, internal emails, closed-door meetings, but Marcus Dean felt the weight immediately. Two men from Internal Affairs sat across from him in a plain conference room, recorder on the table, coffee going untouched. Marcus didn't dramatize what happened. He didn't need to. He walked them through it the way he'd been trained. Chronological, precise, unemotional. Timestamps, exact phrases. Where Rourke stood, where the cameras were mounted. When he said, "People like you don't own cars like that," what did you take that to mean? One investigator asked. Marcus paused. Not because he didn't know, but because the answer mattered. I took it to mean my race, he said, and that my professional identification didn't matter to him. Across town, Rourke was having a very different conversation. The union rep leaned back in his chair, arms folded. The video's bad, Dan. Really bad. Rourke shook his head. They cut it. People don't know what it's like out there. They know what they heard, the rep replied. And so does the city. The Ferrari had been run through records a dozen times by now. Clean, registered, insured. Marcus's salary history matched. Even the bank confirmed the withdrawal time. Every fact Rourke had dismissed was now neatly documented, highlighted, and time-stamped. The city tried to move quickly. Administrative leave, a brief statement about reviewing procedures, but the story refused to stay contained. National outlets picked it up. Former officers weighed in. Civil rights attorneys slowed the footage down, frame by frame, pointing out moments that couldn't be explained away as procedure. Marcus's wife watched the coverage from her hospital bed, IV still in her arm. When Marcus visited, she didn't ask about the loss. She asked if he was okay. I am, he said. I just didn't think it would be like this. It always is, she replied quietly. The formal complaint became a federal civil rights case within days. Unlawful detention, excessive force, racial profiling. Each count carried its own weight, its own history. Marcus wasn't the only name on the filing, but he was the one with the clearest evidence. Rourke, meanwhile, was pulled from patrol entirely. No cruiser, no badge in public. Just a desk and a growing sense that the system he trusted was no longer shielding him. His past stops were being reviewed now, patterns examined. Complaints that once went nowhere were suddenly being reopened. At a closed city council session, the finance director spoke bluntly. If this goes to trial, we're exposed. How exposed? Someone asked. 7 figures, he said. Minimum. The deposition was where things truly unraveled. Under oath, Rourke struggled. His answers circled themselves. He contradicted his own report. When asked why he ignored the FBI jacket, he said he didn't notice it clearly. When shown high-resolution stills from the footage, he went quiet. "And when you said, 'people like you,' what do you mean?" the attorney asked. Rourke swallowed. "I didn't mean anything by it." The room didn't move. Marcus watched from across the table, face unreadable. He'd testified against criminals before, men who lied without blinking. This was different. This was a man trying to outrun his own words. The city's legal team requested mediation. Behind closed doors, numbers were discussed that never made it to the public agenda. $5 million became a possibility, then a probability, then a strategy to limit damage. Rourke learned about the amount from a news alert on his phone. He stared at the screen longer than he'd stared at any suspect. 5 million. For a moment in a parking lot, for words he thought no one would challenge. For certainty, that turned out to be expensive. Marks didn't celebrate. He didn't speak publicly. He stayed quiet, let the process move forward, let the evidence speak. Because the final decision wasn't about money. It was about whether the city would finally admit what the cameras had already shown. If you believe that the truth doesn't disappear just because someone refuses to see it, share this story and remind others that accountability has a way of catching up. The settlement was approved on a Tuesday morning, quietly, without cameras in the room. $5 million, no appeals, no drawn-out press conference, just signatures, sealed documents, and a line item added to the city's annual budget under a name that said nothing about how it began in a bank parking lot. But consequences don't stop at paperwork. Officer Daniel Rourke sat alone in a small administrative office when the chief delivered the decision. Termination, effective immediately, policy violations, civil rights infringement, conduct unbecoming. The language was formal, clinical, stripped of emotion, but the meaning was clear. The badge he'd worn for over a decade was done protecting him. Rourke didn't argue this time. There was nothing left to say. His service weapon had already been turned in. His locker was boxed by someone else. The same instincts he once trusted had cost him everything he thought was untouchable. Outside, the city released a short statement acknowledging failures in judgment and committing to additional training. It didn't name Rourke. It didn't need to. Everyone already knew. Marcus Dean read the notice from his kitchen table. Early morning light cutting across the surface. His wife was home now, recovering, coffee cooling in her hands as she watched him scan the page. When he finished, he folded it neatly and set it down. "So that's it?" she asked. "That's it," he said. Money went where Marcus said it would from the beginning. Medical bills, legal fees, a portion donated to civil rights legal defense funds, another portion set aside for their future. He didn't buy another car. He didn't move. He didn't give interviews about winning. Because to him, this was never about victory. Weeks later, Marcus returned to work. Same badge, same quiet confidence. The difference was subtle but real. People listened differently now. Supervisors cited the case in training sessions. New officers watched the footage with instructors who paused the screen and asked, "Where did this go wrong?" The answer was never complicated. Rourke tried to find work in private security. Background checks stalled him. Applications went unanswered. The video followed him everywhere, short, unedited, unmistakable. The words he'd spoken had become permanent. One afternoon, months later, Marcus drove past that same Chase Bank. The parking lot looked smaller than he remembered. Ordinary. Just another place people came and went without incident. He parked, stepped out, and stood there for a moment. Not in anger, not in triumph, but in reflection. The cameras were still there. The doors still opened and closed. Life had moved on. But the system had shifted, even slightly, because someone documented the truth instead of absorbing the insult. That was the real consequence. Not the payout, not the termination. The record. If you believe that accountability matters, that dignity should never be questioned, and that standing firm in the truth can reshape the system itself, share this story and let others know that justice is real when people refuse to stay silent.
Upholding justice is a vital pursuit, and understanding acts as your armor. Thank you for joining us and demanding transparency.